Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Let's talk about Uttar Pradesh, where elections, rather by-elections, to 9 Vidhan Sabha seats are due. And coming close on the heels of the Bahraich violence, there are reports, several reports, in fact, in the newspaper that Yogi Adityanath has met Mohan Bhagwat yesterday in Mathura. And this meeting lasted for about 2.5 hours. And this is for the first time that the two leaders have met and have met for a substantial discussion post 2024 elections. And this has given rise to the speculations that was this about the political trajectory of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. And the timing of the meeting is also being questioned because today, Keshav Prasad Maurya and Brijesh Pathak, who are the two deputy chief ministers of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, they have been called to Delhi because still there has been no discussion on who the candidates, BJP candidates, will be for the by-elections to the 9 Vidhan Sabha seats. Now, there was an effort which was where it was seen that Yogi Adityanath was trying to communalize these by-elections by what happened in Bahraich, the kind of violence we saw. Uh, Ram Gopal Mishra was killed during a Durga immersion procession, and after which all these developments have taken place. Yogi has met Mohan Bhagwat, Keshav Prasad Maurya, and Brijesh Pathak have been summoned to Delhi. So, what is really happening within the BJP camp as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned? And another development, and a very important one, of course, BJP's own MLA, Sureshwar Singh, has got an FIR filed against his own party members in the Bahraich violence. So, how does the High Command of BJP see all this? Are there tensions between Yogi Adityanath, RSS, and the High Command of the BJP? And how soon can these candidates be announced as far as these by elections are concerned? So, a lot of churning is happening within Uttar Pradesh, but what is the real picture? We'll try and find out all of this. Joining me now is Sunita, the contributing editor to Hindustan Times Lucknow. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. We have Girish Joshi, the veteran political commentator. Thank you so much for joining. We have TK Rajlakshmi, who's the senior deputy editor from the Frontline magazine. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi. And I'll begin with Sunita because a lot of things are happening in Uttar Pradesh. Yogi Adityanath has met Bhagwat in Mathura all of a sudden. I think last time it was about 3 months ago where we read that apparently there was a bit to meet, for both of them to meet in Gorakhpur, but apparently that meeting didn't happen. And now this meeting has happened. What do you think has really transpired in this meeting between Yogi and Bhagwat?
Nilu, I think finally they have met because I think there were a lot of speculations when Bhagwat was camping somewhere near Gorakhpur and CM was also there and the speculations went on. I don't think so. If they want to meet, they can always meet. They can call each other. And there was a time when Bhagwat used to go to Math very regularly. But after Yogi became chief minister, his visits have been fewer. Now he's in Mathura for 10 days, I think. He must be having a bigger plan on his agenda, and it is not just the by elections, but by elections have become very important after the we saw the dip in BJP's seats. And it's basically not the dip only which actually bothered them. What has rattled the RSS is that the Hindutva vote bank that they have built over 2 decades or since Ram Janmabhoomi movement started collapsed. They were trying to bring in Dalits, they were trying to bring in OBCs, barring Yadavs, but that the Hindu vote bank, which they thought was almost complete, broke. So that is something which worries them, and RSS has been very active as it looks after that. In Haryana, they played a very important role, and I think in Maharashtra also they're going to play a very important role, and UP by elections certainly. Now, regarding the meeting between Yogi and Bhagwat, we can only guess. We can't go beyond that because there is no one who will be able to share what actually transpired between them. But definitely, Bhagwat must be having his own plans for UP. He must have told Yogi what he expects from him. By elections are very important and they are not easy elections. So they must have discussed it. The Prime Minister, when he was in Varanasi, this time he mentioned both the deputy chief ministers and their team for the development of UP. So there have been messages. Everybody knows about Yogi not having very good rapport with the daily guys, but he survived. He has survived. After all the speculations of his going, he's there on the chair, and as long as he's on the chair, he's running the show. So this time maybe he'll have a larger say in tickets. That could be the possibility, because last time this was an excuse given by Yogi Camp that he was not involved in ticket distribution. So it could be that otherwise also prime ministers and senior leaders don't generally campaign for bypolls. We have not seen that happen. So it's going to be a very interesting election. Bhagwat must have discussed the the strong points and the points that the Yogi needs to work on. Now, Bahraich is a slap on their face. You mentioned it, so I'll mention it. Bahraich is a very sensitive district, and what happened over a DJ playing a song, this happens there. The discourse happens throughout the year. You can't sit at somebody's house and actually talk, because you have some discourse coming from a madrasa or from a Muslim home or from a masjid, and some from a Hindu home or a temple or wherever. And the loudspeakers keep on there, it's a competition that's going on. And there it was a utter failure of the administration. One, on deciding the route. Second, they did not hold any meeting between the two communities if there was any tension. Third, they allowed the violent mob, whether of Hindus or of Muslims, to go on a rampage. The police arrangement was much less, and everything has come. Now we don't have to talk about it, we don't have to speculate, because the BJP MLA has spilled the beans. So this is not going to help. Bulldozer is no more something, which symbolized Yogi's law and order. It's now seen as a very, very biased.
You made an important point, but how does one conclude that has Yogi's brand of Hindutva politics, it's completely failed in Uttar Pradesh? What we saw in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, and after that, maybe there is a word that Bhagwat has met Yogi just because they want to re-strategize everything, not only for by-elections but also for 2027 UP polls. So,
You
are they going to
know,
rework some sort of strategy? Do you see will you see some change in Yogi in the coming months? What can we expect really?
Nilu, I don't see any damage by his brand of Hindutva, because there is a very thin line dividing between the unsaid Hindutva agenda of the RSS and his brazen agenda of Hindutva. It's a very, very thin line that divides it. But definitely, a section of society, especially Dalits and lower OBCs, they do feel that the upper caste is very dominant, and especially his caste, the Rajputs. So, somewhere, if RSS wants to rebuild that same vote bank, they'll have to engage with low caste, with Dalits, who somehow are not trusting Yogi so much as of now. So there is a issue there, and that's why perhaps this time, after so many encounters, they came up with an encounter policy. Then even the bulldozers, they gave a notice, 15 days notice. So they are trying to take some steps to send a message, but the harm is already done.
But when do you think will BJP be able to declare its list of candidates? Because what I'm hearing for the nine seats where bypolls are supposed to happen, the Nishad party is also wanting its share in the pie. RLD is also wanting a share in the pie, and because of which BJP is not wanting to give them more number of seats. And is that the reason why they have not declared the the candidates for the
No,
by-elections?
I don't think so. RLD or Nishad party, they are in a position to dictate terms. They won one seat each and they might get it. But this time, maybe they are more careful in the selection of the candidates because some seats now, Milkipur, for the time being, they don't have any problem there because, but Ambedkar Nagar, then your Karhal, there are certain seats which are in focus right now, and they will be very very careful in announcing the candidates. But having said so, Akhilesh has already announced Mayawati, interestingly, is going to contest all the 9 seats she never used to do earlier. So I don't know, as a spoil sport, or she really wants to recover, revive. We'll see that once we see the selection of the candidates, whether that is to harm Samajwadi Party and Congress, or and help BJP, or to revive a party.
Right. That's an important point. Now, coming to you, TK Rajlakshmi, that uh, the manner in which everybody has seen the Bahraich violence unfolding, BJP's own MLA going ahead and filing an FIR against its own party members, and he's actually exposed the Bahraich violence. What does it go? I mean, how do you see Yogi in that light now? Even Supreme Court has made an observation, a strict one, that bulldozer can't just be the solution for every problem. So, has it really put Yogi on the back foot? And because he was brazenly trying to communalize these by elections, otherwise, why would have Bayrach violence have taken place?
See, the Supreme Court also, upheld the this thing Madarsa Act, the Madarsa I think Education Act, which was struck down by the High Court. Okay, it's upheld that. Okay, so there are certain signals that are coming through. It's also sort of given, I think, a strong statement on this whole aspect of bulldozing homes. Okay, so as far as that is concerned, there are certain strong signals that have come from the courts, at least. I mean, to what extent it might prevail, one doesn't know. But yes, it is a significant setback, I would say, when your own party MLA goes and sort of files an FIR and sort of exposes the role of the government and sort of exposes certain people in his entire conspiracy to create divisiveness, in fact, just before the by-election polls. So in a sense, people are also um, getting aware that this playbook is not going to work every time. They've tried it in every election, and in every election the attempt is to consolidate the Hindu votes. So perhaps this whole meeting with Mr. Bhagwat, yes, as Sunita said, I mean, Yogi can't get more Hindutva than what he already is. So even if he goes and meets Mr. Bhagwat, and he appeals for maybe sort of advice on how to win the by-polls, because clearly the Samajwadi Party seems to be in a better position, as far as the 9 by-poll seats are concerned. And now that it has an understanding with the Congress, so let us hope that the India votes are not going to get split, in that sense, and one can safely assume that the India alliance could have an edge in these by-poll elections. So then, in that sense, what would that mean for the Yogi government also? Because as I think everybody knows, he's not in a particularly good relationship with the central high command of his party, right? And there have been so many transfers, bureaucrats close to him, and he does, and to some extent, there's this feeling that yes, that he did not have a choice, the candidates also in the Lok Sabha polls, to the extent that he may have wanted, and therefore, so he would try to sort of bargain, okay, because all said and done, UP sends, the maximum number of seats for the BJP, I mean, to a very large extent, even now, okay, to the Lok Sabha. It's a huge number, and so he would also bargain, from that position, that if you want to see the BJP, so rule the roost in UP in 2027, or maybe to keep the Hindutva flag, flying high, because he is, after all, the sole person, quite deeply associated with purveying the Hindutva ideology and quite aggressively. This entire bulldozer thing started with him, okay, and which has been emulated by other state governments, headed by the BJP, okay, whether it's MP or elsewhere, including Rajasthan also. So each one of them, is indulging in this competitive, aggressive Hindutva, okay, to show that we can also be maybe substitutes to Mr. Yogi. So so it's also a question of his survival, I think, at some to some extent, that he would I mean he would bargain for us.
Right.
Oh, he wants to be, I think, on the right side of the RSS, definitely.
Right.
And
Well, you're
yeah.
right. Yogi would always try to be on the right side of the RSS. But Kirish, if I may come to you now and juxtaposing all this, that Yogi meets Bhagwat, and coming as it does, very, very close to what has happened in Bahraich. You have by-elections, very, very, I mean, they're just around the corner anytime, but BJP has not been able to declare its candidates. Then you have the two deputy chief ministers of UP visiting Delhi. They have a meeting fixed up with JP Nadda. And of course, a lot of things will be happening. Where do you see Yogi in the light of all these developments which are happening in Uttar Pradesh? I mean, the very question that will he lose his CM chair or will he not? Is he trying to work up his way to RSS? What would you really say to this?
Just look to the system, how it started. 2019, they tried very hard that UP should come under their control. So who has brought in Yogi is RSS. So obviously he's a blue-eyed boy and a remote control for Delhi. That is very obvious. Lot of things happened. They tried to disturb his position, but then ultimately they could not do anything because he was with the blessings of RSS. Now this is very clear that he has to be there till the number one and number two have to be kept in control by RSS. Now the main fight starts here. Their way of working is always the same wherever they do. Now once they start doing Hindutva card, 19 they succeeded. But literally, as Madam Reddy said that, they are losing that grip. So now instead of consolidating Hindu votes, they try and disturb the consolidated Muslim votes. Now what will happen in Gujarat also did that the same thing. Suddenly something crops up and the Muslim communities go away for a while from that area. So you are very sure that votes have not gone to the other party. This is exactly how they have done there. Now what happens is some of the fearful Hindus will also go away.
Right.
You can see
For
that.
that matter, for that matter, even in Bahraich, people have started vacating their homes and they are moving elsewhere.
Yes, yes. And there are a lot of complaints that some of the voting list are missing. There are not many people who are not appearing on the voting list. So these all things that they've already mastered in this. Suddenly they always try to bring a new pack of cards so that what happens is you are not frustrated by looking at the old card. Whatever, now once they brought in Yogi had no public mandate or no public demand or public view. So suddenly people start looking at he's a new man. He would start working. This is what they did in Gujarat also. Bhupendra Patel is brought out somewhere from the blue. What happens is they keep on people confusing because they already got fed up with the old lot. So they don't want that. Same thing has happened here. And they have already started propagating that ये तो मियाँ को तो अपने कब्जे में रखने के लिए बाजी चाहिए. This is what is going on. So they are trying to concentrate. But I still fail to forget that all your Hindutva in 2019 also brought in you only 37% vote. So obvious, 67 Hindus are still not with you. Whom are you trying to concentrate? So now these are the things that they have started doing it. Let the Muslims vote go away from the constituency so that the Hindu votes can be fought out. Rest all the things they can manage. And many what we have seen is the candidate which has been finalized is never brought to the books very suddenly. Now, once looking at the behavior of election commissioner and lately the chief commissioner of India, if the things have been settled, they would just make a drama of all that, not this candidate, that candidate, but ultimately the candidate who has been finalized for that EVM is brought in and he wins. That is obvious. We have seen in Haryana. 33 complaints are on the paper that where are the votes coming in from, but then there is no court with you. What will you do? But I think Maharashtra will be a little difficult because these riots happen and all this gambling happens only where the administration is with them, the state is with them. Non-BJP states, they are not able to play all these games. So Maharashtra will go tough. See, Haryana, they will be able to do. UP also, they are not allowed to let loose the UP government because once they lose there, Akhilesh and all, they will keep on shouting, but they have already created narrative. katoge to batoge, and these are words are given. This is for the future. So these all practices they will keep on doing. Maximum they have tried best is that let the Muslim votes leave the constituency, and they have succeeded in that. Yeah.
Okay. Sunita, coming to you, like what you said initially in your first round of submission, you said that when Modi was in RSS, he was in praise of the two deputy CMs. And of course, he didn't say anything about Yogi. And now that the two deputy chief ministers have been summoned to Delhi, uh, what does one make out of this? I mean, maybe it's because they have to discuss the candidates for the by elections. But do you read anything beyond this?
Nilu, let me perhaps you couldn't understand. I couldn't explain myself. I said when he was in Varanasi recently, then from the dais he said Modi, Yogi and his two deputy chief ministers. He took the
Okay.
name and their team, giving them credit for the development of the state. So
Okay, so
that's
you
it.
did.
They
Okay,
have to keep these two guys because these are the ones who had, they must have, like Amit Shah must have made some promise to them after they had raised a banner of revolt against Yogi after the elections. And Keshav Prasad Maurya was, he was not hiding his resentment and or his demand to for removal of Yogi. And he's considered close to Amit Shah. And Brijesh Pathak, I won't say that he's close to any group, but he went with Keshav Prasad Maurya, and everybody feels that it must be at the behest of somebody else. Now, even this complaint by an FIR, by a BJP MLA, people do see somebody's hand in that. Otherwise, why would MLA, one can understand a Congress MLA or a Samajwadi Party MLA going against the party line and doing it. But BJP being a party as it is controlled by Delhi and their unit here, a BJP MLA goes and lodges an FIR, that's a very big thing and no comment has come so far.
absolutely.
Otherwise they would say, you raise the issue, you should do it at the party platform.
No, but what
Why
you
did he
suspect,
go and
Sunita?
lodge an FIR?
Could it, no, but what is your suspicion? Could it have been done at the behest of those forces within the BJP which are against Yogi?
Perhaps, because if you look at the result of his FIR, it has caused huge embarrassment to
Yeah,
Yogi government. So, and it has raised a question mark on the handling of the entire thing, where he says, even my life, my son's life, was in
yeah,
threat. So it has, and somehow Yogi is right now on a back foot. And when it comes to Bahraich, after your own guy lodges an FIR, it's not that he went to the party office and told the office guy, the state president, or he met the chief minister. He had these options of going to the chief minister, telling him what has happened and demanding action. But he has gone to the extent of lodging an FIR against his own people, and now he's saying अब वो किस पार्टी के हैं क्या है हमने तो नाम दिए but it doesn't make any sense, going to, you are lodging an FIR and you are lodging an FIR in a way indirectly against the handling of the entire situation by your own government. So definitely he could have taken such a huge step himself. Let's see if he's suspended, he's removed, we'll know that, because some action has to follow his decision.
but Rajlakshmi, do you think that Yogi will change his style of politics because of all the embarrassment which he has seen? I mean, especially posed by Bahraich. Do you think he's going to be a changed man, or he will continue his same brand of politics, whether it helps BJP or it doesn't?
I don't think he can be any other way, Nilu. I mean, his entire style has been sort of modeled on pushing a kind of divisive rhetoric, which helps in consolidation to an extent. But even so, even if you look at the outcome, the Haryana elections, it's not that the Hindus did not vote for the Congress, okay, because the vote percentage between the two parties was absolutely minuscule. right? So we can't say, of course, we also read reports that the RSS did a lot of door-to-door campaigning, last mile, sort of getting the voter, etc. Which they do always. They have this booth level, they have those panna pramokes, and they have the whole structure in place. Okay, the Congress doesn't have, but that's the case in every election, right? So how was it that in the UP Lok Sabha election, those same tactics did not help? So clearly, there is something more that is at hand. There's something more that happens on ground, which is not just Hindutva consolidation that will reap the BJP the same kind of benefits. So there is certain fatigue because why would they lose from Ayodhya? In the Lok Sabha. Okay,
Absolutely.
right. I mean,
Nilu,
Yes.
can I come in?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. You asked her a very valid question, and I think the little that we have seen Yogi since long, I don't think so. He can change. He's not the guy who will change, and it is for the RSS and BJP to worry because he's the person. If he's angry, he'll go back to the mutt and damage them more. So that's the reason why, and then we should not forget that he's not a homegrown guy. He's not bound by RSS or BJP discipline. He's an independent person. So I doubt beyond a point he would, change, or little bit
discipline.
adjustments he may do. Little bit adjustments he may do. But he's not the person in the long run who's going to change.
Right.
Yeah, or he would offer himself, to be disciplined.
No, he's not the one. He's not the
Yeah.
one.
No, no, I mean, I found this question actually very interesting because, all the developments which are happening simultaneously. The meeting of Yogi and Bhagwat, to the two deputy CMs in Delhi, and some signals being given out by the Prime Minister. Now, Girish, what would you really say to this Yogi brand of politics, especially post the 2024 elections, and then the kind of embarrassment which Yogi has had to suffer because of Bahraich, his own MLA, going and speaking against him, and now he's meeting RSS. What did you really say towards the end? Yeah,
Nilu, first thing, he is not a RSS man, as Madam rightly said. He is not trained in that school. And this is a very common modus operandi of our Home Minister. Even in Gujarat, when they don't like a man, they will allow him to make a lot of mistakes. They will themselves encourage. And then ultimately, this is exactly what has happened to the bulldozer. He was literally made an international hero, that he's a bulldozer man. What happened in Madhya Pradesh? They failed. They tried in Maharashtra, they failed. Because people opinion doesn't go. But exactly what they wanted to achieve, so they have made him a hero. And now they will try and see that if it doesn't come under, that RSS is literally backing him. Whatever they do, they will not be able to dispense out Yogi. So they allowed him to make a mistake. He was deliberately made a hero. This is exactly how RSS works. But now things are come at the cross table. Now let us see what happens, because he doesn't have any liability. That is very right. Even if he goes away to Mutt, he is already there. He has got the establishment to be there. Where will these people go? So Madhya Pradesh smartly, Shivraj did not encourage bulldozer very much. Initially, they thought that let us take that stand. Ultimately, that was lost. He is not being sent anywhere. He is not being sent for propaganda. So they have allowed him to make a mistake, and now he's caught between the wildfire. Now let us see what happens. Because people are already losing. And what you said is, some of the areas, you see, UP, all the areas are not general category majority areas. So wherever these disputes are happening, recently, if you see a very big seminar of Muslim Council was attended by this OBC Meshram. And openly Meshram tells a reporter, when he says that ye Muslim to Hindu ke dushman hai, why have you come? He's telling, I am not a Hindu. I am a Ambedkarite. I feel Ambedkar. So these things are happening. So this MLA is very rightly taken a wise step to go and file FIR because he doesn't want to lose the OBC votes. These are the calculations that they are doing at the local ground. He is answerable for what has happened in his area. So to make him clean, bring him out clean, he's just going to file an FIR, say that hum to aapke saath hai, dekhiye, I don't tolerate all these things. So these are all tricky politics they are trying to play on every area. Everybody is trying to play the ground. Now let us see who wins ultimately.
absolutely. So we'll have to wait and watch what happens. And of course, all eyes would be on who the candidates are for BJP as far as these by-elections are concerned, because they are just around the corner. And of course, if some more details come out as to what has happened between Yogi and Bhagwat as well. Thank you so much, Sunita ji, for joining. Girish, Rajlakshmi, it was wonderful to
Thank
have
you.
all of you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us a feedback, and stay tuned to the Federal.